going? Have a guess how many views it's got.
25 million.
More.
100 million.
More.
Fuck off. 150 million.
It's got 132 million views.
Bloody hell. Go on then.
You ready? Let's fucking
See if I've ever heard it. Jump it in quick because otherwise we'll get copyrighted.
I'm just going to wait till it...
I'll pick that up.
Will it?
Get it going, yeah. Jump it in. Ba-da-la-la. Don't copyright us. Never heard that in my life.
Chocolate Rain was amazing.
What the fuck is just
Chocolate Rain?
Look at him. That's some nerdy dude just...
Yeah.
Look at him.
Look at the aspect ratio.
That is a black guy, but he somehow looks orange.
Yeah. Oh, it's the most terrible camera ever. How old is this? 14 years ago.
What? I've never heard that in my life.
413,000 comments.
I don't. The internet has just lost it.
Tay's on. He's still got 1 million subs. When did he last post? He posted.
That was it.
He posted a year ago.
Was he singing about Yellow Rain?
Alien Christmas.
Another song.
Or he still, yeah. That's his thing though. He was a singer, so he still puts stuff out, and he's getting like millions of views. Like the Hobbit theme song, Misty Mountain. He's got 3.5 million views on that, and that was 9 years ago.
I thought you were going to say that was 9 days ago. That was 9 years ago.
9 years. Yeah, but like he's
Yeah.
still doing all right. He's doing constant, well, fairly consistent content.
Well, that is the randomest way to start the podcast.
Tay's on, don't it? If anyone remembers Chocolate Rain, you're a fucking
Did you
legend.
hear Chocolate Rain? I never heard that in my life.
Chocolate Rain.
You sing it better than he does.
I know.
He was a letdown after you've been singing it downstairs for the past 20 minutes.
I've been practicing.
To which I've been now got in my head Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Purple Rain. Yeah. No,
Chocolate
never heard
Rain was
that.
better
I'm
than
quite
Purple
happy I've
Rain.
never heard that. That sucked.
No, you should listen to the whole thing. Give it time. You only got a few seconds of it.
I don't have that kind of time in my life to waste on that.
Chocolate Rain's amazing, mate. I'm gonna set that as my ringtone.
I can't drink cherries and berries anymore without trying to breathe it. I love it that much.
Just inhale it. What episode are we on?
56.
56.
Boosting through.
I know.
Boosting it.
It's been really flying since we hit the 1 year mark. They've all blurred into one.
It's been a bit zippy, hasn't it? Yeah. But it's not as zippy as Hurricane Eunice. What a shit name.
Was it Eunice?
Eunice. Isn't that Eunice?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah. It's Hurricane Eunice. Hiya.
I weren't even paying attention. I didn't know if it wasn't for other people telling me.
There was a gust of wind here, and I think like a plant pot blew over.
Yeah, I was going to say,
That was it.
I thought it was going to be bad hit, because like...
I was all ready to get outside with a video camera and a cup of tea.
Have you seen the
in
video of the
wind.
wheelie bin? Have you seen that?
That's from like 3 years ago.
Oh, is it?
That's not this one.
Right. Okay.
That was the last one. A year and a bit ago. Remember it took all the trees down?
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
They were like hyping it up to be like this one. The sequel to Wheelie Bin Tornado.
Yeah.
That we've got like
it's
Greg's
like
bin bag.
Yeah.
That's it.
was like Sharknado, but Wheelie Bin-nado.
Yeah. And literally a plant pot blew over, and that was a lot. And I wanted to go outside with a cup of tea, and it'd be super windy, and then just be like chilling with the wind and beard and hair going everywhere, and just try and drink a tea, and then act really relaxed and be like, fresh air. Like it was going to be something funny.
Great
It
British
didn't even
weather.
get windy enough to make my hair whip around. So, fucking Met Office.
Yeah.
Getting on
Although it is bad in some places. I've seen people like... I saw somewhere a massive tree had blown over.
Yeah.
I think it's just where you are. Like,
Yeah. It was southwesterly. Came up and across, didn't it?
Again, I don't know. I've been out in it opposed to watching it.
I think if you're in London, it was bad.
Yeah. I picked... So, anyone who knows the whole bathroom saga, if you've been listening long enough, you know about my bathroom.
The bathroom.
Well, when I gutted everything, I put it all in my back garden because I was like, I'm not going to hire a skip until I've got everything, and I know that I'm not.
And you wanted to ingratiate yourself with the neighbours as best as possible.
To be fair, no, you can't. They can't overlook the garden anyway, so it doesn't
Did you
really
at least
matter.
chuck a mattress on top to just finish it?
No, I didn't. But so I've left this shit there for months now, and I've been avoiding doing it. It's like one of the last jobs I needed to do because it's a shit job of moving a load of stuff, from ripping out 2 entire bathrooms, knocking down walls, ripping up the floorboards. There's so much crap.
You were doing that every night after work and stuff.
Yeah.
God, that went on.
So I've avoided doing this, and I was like, oh well, I'll book a skip and we'll get it done. I've got a day off. Book a day off work. I picked the day with the fucking tornado storm.
With the Greg's bin bag tornado.
Yeah. So it weren't too bad. The wind wasn't bad at all. It just kept fucking hammering down with rain for like 5 minutes and then be dry for a bit. So I was just wet, and then I was wet throughout the entire day, even though it only rained like 3 times.
That's all it did here. Yeah. Just like it was. I wasn't even expecting rain because it didn't even forecast it. It was just supposed to be super winds. I was like, "It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna at least go for a walk in it and see if I could do if I'm gonna do like Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
lean into it.
Yeah,
moonwalker. Nope,
nothing.
Fucking nothing.
You try it and
broke
just
one flower pot outside. That was it. Yeah. I didn't even. But I walked outside like ready, and the worst it did was rain on me.
Yeah.
I even fucking moved all the bloody garden furniture into the garage, thinking it was going to be whipped around. So I don't have that.
No.
Stevie the fern outside's not even been bothered by it.
When Emma's friend did, I don't know where she lives actually. One of Emma's friends, it's somebody's like, it's like a freestanding kind of awning thing, but it looked like it was had glass panels in there, and that was in their garden. No, it wasn't theirs.
Oh, it wasn't theirs?
It was somebody else's, but it was in their garden. But it was half in their garden, half
Free
in the
gazebo!
Yeah, it was like a gazebo, but it was like glass panels, or like it was either like perspex panels or something like that. But it looked quite heavy duty, and that was
that will go. It's just a parachute.
Yeah. So fucking, I don't know. You'd think those are the kind of things that you're gonna put away, aren't they? Like, you've got a weather warning.
You definitely,
Yeah, that's like probably the first thing.
Unless it was an old year one.
Yeah, but then you'd think it'd be fixed down or
because if there's an all year one, there's those annoying like fake iron ones, aren't there? Where you slam and they can't once you put them together, you can't really take them apart.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
You should have just got the sandbags out, but I bet they don't have them because we live in Britain and we're about as ready for any kind of war or interruption as as an Ethiopian is ready for snow.
Yeah, bit of snow, then we're fucked.
Yeah.
Bit of wind, we're fucked.
In fact, we're fucked if anything out of the absolute average happens.
Yeah, too hot, water would drought.
No water for you.
Yeah.
Bit of snow, no more food anywhere for anybody. Can't be delivered.
Yeah. Literally anything that isn't just grey and mediocre, our country drops apart.
They cancelled all the trains in Wales without any premise. It's like, there's wind, cancel all the trains. Yeah. I can't do a Welsh accent. So, you'll do it that way. Oh, no, there's going to be winds. Cancelled all the trains.
Winds.
All the winds.
God's sake. Right. So, what have you been up to?
Right, well, I found out that I can be an adult and get my sleeping pattern back on track.
Yeah.
Got doing it. Getting into bed by like 10:30.
Sorry, mate. I'm
oh yeah, and we don't have one of these this week.
Yeah.
Sorry, the CREWCast is staying shut because, well, we just we forgot to order stuff, and we also didn't really know what we wanted.
Yeah.
But we've been on now, and we've ordered four whole new drinks.
Yeah. So it'll be back to normal.
Yes. So we'll try a new one next week. But some of you might have missed some of these. Well, they won't miss that one because we only just bloody did that one. But I don't know why you're going back to it. Rumbullion. We had it the other week. I'm pretty sure you picked it the last time we got a free choice pick.
It's like probably at least 10 episodes ago.
Is it chili chocolate rum?
Chili chocolate rum, yeah, Rumbullion. That's at least 10 episodes.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Wow.
If not longer.
Well, I've gone with the Jack Daniels Single Barrel Select because this, honestly, beautiful. It's one of my favourites.
That's replaced. What did it replace for you?
Gentleman Jack.
Yes. That was it, wasn't it?
Slowly going up the scale. So, yeah, I've got Single Barrel Select Tennessee Whiskey Jack Daniels, and you've got Rumbullion, so whiskey and rum.
Chili chocolate rum. I've had the regular Rumbullion as well, and that is very nice.
That's a sound of happiness right there, that is. Oh, I've actually looked forward to the whiskey this week. Ooh. Let's see. This one doesn't really have. Ooh, cheeky.
It got better.
That's because I pulled it with some velocity. Yeah. I was just being gentle with it before. But that's the sound of the weekend right there. This is the sound of the bottle being empty.
Can we talk about what I did last weekend?
What did you do last weekend? My brain won't fail me. Oh, yeah, I suppose you can do. Yeah. It wasn't really. Well, okay. So we were supposed to talk about psychedelics. Should we do that this week?
Well, I don't know a huge amount about it, but yeah.
Okay, cool. There we go. We've got a subject matter because we were going to Greg Doucette.
Doucette?
Doucette.
Doucette. Oh, I like it. Well, we can still slag him off anyway because I think he's a fucking knob.
I can't watch him.
The final straw for me because he pisses me off anyway.
You're gonna have to stop talking. You're going to blow out your ass.
Yeah, he
Shut up.
He shouts. He's got the most annoying voice ever. I don't know if he's a character or if that's.
No, I think he's that irritating. But it's the fact that he embellishes sentences that don't need embellishing. Like, I'm gonna have a cheese sandwich. Like, why?
Yeah, like he's just the most over the top person.
I feel like his throat is getting torn up every time he speaks.
The thing is that like I've not watched too many of his videos. I watched a few of his like informative ones if it was about a specific topic. Some of them are kind of some of them were okay. A lot of them not so much. But he does loads where he it's like someone who he basically.
I don't like
down.
that he targets people.
Yeah,
that's why I stopped watching him.
Yeah, he puts people down.
When he did the informative
time.
stuff, I actually watched him a bit.
Yeah.
But then all he did was start picking on people, but not picking on people. He's not a bully. He's a midget. But he's just targeting people and trying to shit on them.
Yeah.
And even when he wasn't trying to shit on them, he starts out like he's gonna shit on them. It's a negative thing.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it was like some kid on TikTok or someone who's done something and then. They're not that experienced in the industry. They're just doing something, putting out their little bit of experience.
Slamming them.
Yeah, and he's fucking absolutely rinsing them. And I'm like, what are you getting other than views? Because he'll specifically just wait for something that's blowing up to just jump on the bandwagon of it, and just to cause drama on purpose.
Well, we can blame YouTube for that though as well because
it rewards him.
It rewards anyone who's doing trends. That's what they should stop fucking rewarding. They should start rewarding unique and original content.
Yeah,
because that's what YouTube used to be.
Yeah,
now you're turning it into a spam platform.
Yeah, the thing that I didn't realise it because I don't watch Greg Doucette's channel, but in the last Bio Bros episode, which is More Plates, More Dates, Vigorous Steve, and Leo and Longevity, which More Plates just hit like over 1 million subs. Leo's just hit 100,000 and Steve's just hit 50,000. They've all just hit like milestones within like a month or two, which is fucking awesome because they're really good channels. But Leo like just completely called out Greg Doucette on there because him and Derek from More Plates, More Dates, Greg and Derek, they were kind of like friendly-ish.
Yeah.
But everything that I've heard about Derek is basically he's such a nice guy that he'd never say a bad word about anyone, and he's like not very confrontational or anything like that. And he's really popularised this supplement called testosterone.
Yeah.
Before
his company makes it, isn't it?
Yeah, his company makes it, but before he started looking into it, it's been completely under the radar. There's barely any studies done on it. He's like brought it massively into the public eye as like an alternative to steroids. It's not going to be as potent as steroids by any means, but like it's something that I'm going to try soon. But we'll probably talk about.
You've got it. You bought it.
I've literally bought some. But I'll talk about that on another podcast. No, it's not cheap, but I haven't started yet, but I will do at some point. And so basically, Greg Doucette's meant to be his friend, and then Greg Doucette's come out with a testosterone product, exactly the same, not mentioned anything to Derek, and he's literally just selling it off Derek's hype, basically.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's such a sleazy move to do.
Yeah, it seems like this is his personality.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon worked with him for a while, and then there was a fallout between those two, and he shit on him over that. He just seems to just alienate and shit on people.
Well, there's something I think,
and that's the common factor.
He got caught cheating in drug tested.
Doucette did?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
In the past, he got caught cheating in drug-tested events, and there was some kind of legal thing with him working with a supplement company, and then apparently he like ratted out other people from the company.
So he's a rat, a cheat, and has the voice of Orville the Duck.
He just seems like a terrible
If you don't know who
person.
Orville the Duck is now, Google it, listen to one clip, and then just say thanks, and also just comment, Orville is Doucette.
What, on the Orville the Duck?
No,
start spamming
comment on
Orville.
our stuff. Spam it wherever you want. Okay, start going. Yeah. Doucette is Orville the Duck.
Yeah.
Some people just, nah.
Yeah, after, like, that was, like, the final straw. Because I couldn't really watch him anyway, because I found myself getting agitated
but that's
by
what
watching
I mean.
his content, because of just how he talks. Sorry. That's just literally reminded me. So if you don't know, we've just become monetized on YouTube, which means like we made £1.80 on a video, by the way. So fucking watch out.
A whole couple of days worth of monies.
I know.
Yes, I literally turned the videos on monetization on 48 hours ago.
Yeah, something like that.
That's some fucking high earning.
And it came up with like what they were, and then one of them came up saying it wasn't monetized, and then the reason why just said unintelligible.
What?
One of the videos literally just comes up as unintelligible.
How can they demonetize it if it's unintelligible?
Who knows? Maybe,
Fucking
yeah.
YouTube.
They just, yeah. So I just found that fucking hilarious. So we need to go back and hear that because although some people do think,
delicious.
I think we just end up rambling a little bit, and if you're not used to our accents, we probably confuse.
You're the unintelligible bit.
I'm not.
You and your bloody Dudley accent.
Nah, I'm not unintelligible at all. The thing is, it varies though, doesn't it? Like some people, it just depends on where your accent is because some accents just clash so
Are you
badly.
sure it says? I mean, that shouldn't be a No, you can monetize somebody just going wah 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 wah.
Well, I am dyslexic, so it might have said anything beginning with an I, but I'm pretty sure it said unintelligible.
And that's because it's with you.
Sorry, are you? Yeah, there we go. That sums it up. It was unintelligible.
I went on and all our videos are monkeyable. They're monkeyable but intelligible.
No, intelligible. Yeah,
We've got
there we
intelligent
go. Maybe it
monkeys.
said intelligible? I don't know.
To wrap up the Greg thing, the reason I don't like it is a negative thing, and I know it can be enticing to jump on something that's on a trend and a hype, but if it's a negative trend or a negative hype, just try and avoid it. Try and stay off it. It's only going to put you in a negative state of mind or a subjective negative state of mind, and you just don't need that. And another top tip as well for making yourself feel better.
Top tips?
Yeah, top tip. This is a good one.
Top tips.
Don't wake up. Don't do two things in the mornings. One, we know, don't go on your phone. But the reason to not go on your phone is not because you get distracted and go on your phone and you're not productive. It's because you're waking up like this, moaning. Oh, Jesus. And then you're going to go onto your phone and you're going to see somebody hang gliding over a beach full of naked mermaids with some beautiful track playing behind it. And immediately you're going to look at your bed that you've probably just looking nice and disheveled because you've wrestled a bear in your dreams. You're trying to look through your one wonky eye that's kind of working in the morning, and you're going to feel like a piece of shit compared to the dude hang gliding over the naked mermaids. So don't do that. Just don't go on there and jump into somebody in the middle of some happy memory blasting it out into the day because it's going to make your day seem shit and feel shit. Get up. Put on music, don't put on the TV. Put on some good music. Get yourself up, get yourself alive, get your coffee in you, do a bit of meditation, you get your stretching done, and start your fucking day properly. Don't start your day by looking at somebody else's already fully involved day.
Yeah, there's nothing worse. I find myself, I hate it, and I still find myself occasionally doing it. And it's autopilot. The amount of times I've done it, and I've just clicked, and I'm just like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Your thumb just goes to the app.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Yeah, it's almost like I forgot what to do. It's like I forgot what to do on my phone before I had fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
Or to be fair, YouTube used to be my go-to for a long time, and YouTube was far better.
Well,
back in the day,
I started using YouTube again, like I used to as originally, searching really odd stuff. So original Alan Watts lectures, actual footage from the 50s that's been put onto YouTube. I've been watching stuff like that and just leaving it because you can walk away from that. You don't need to visualize. You don't need to see a visual of what he's saying most of the time until you do, and then you can walk over, have a look at it, what he's talking about. Whilst he paints with a paintbrush on a whiteboard, which is where he likes to demonstrate stuff, and then you just carry on, and that's been really good. I've liked doing that, and then also putting on wavelength sound, music with those wavelengths in them sound like 900 hertz and stuff like that. It's supposed to be really soothing hertz to put on, so that's great to have it in the morning. Get yourself kind of up and moving and feeling good. You can even, if you're not one of those guys, if you're like me or girls or he, these shit.
Hey, I saw we've got like 4% listeners are female.
Yeah,
but you know what? We get quite a lot of females.
How you doing?
We get more females that comment. So like even though there's such a small percentage of
that is how lazy men are.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Come on, fellas. Fucking up our game.
Yeah, like I'd say probably 25% of the comments are female-ish.
Yeah.
But only 4% of the actual subscribers are female. So they are so much more active.
There's so much more busybodies.
Yeah.
Men
So all the 96%.
Because women will hear what we're saying, think about it, and think of the multiple channels upon which that thought takes them. Yeah. Whereas blokes just go, oh, funny.
Yeah. And then scratch their arse and walk off.
Then just, scratch their head.
Fart.
I want peanut butter.
Yeah.
So we've done that. We've done Doucette. Done that. The morning tip, I wanted to get that out there. I thought, and the other morning tip was, don't read a newspaper in the morning. Or look at news.
Yeah.
It's so negative. And also, no matter what platform you go to, they have their own agendas and they're going to twist and manipulate things towards their agenda. And also, news has gone so clickbaity now that they will actually focus on only the awful shit.
Yeah.
Oh, on saying that, though, on real awful shit that did happen. Did you see about the swimmer in Australia?
No.
What? You not seen this?
I don't. So I literally do not watch the news or listen to the news at all.
Yeah, but a dude got eaten by a great white. In Australia, first fatal attack since the 1960s.
I shouldn't laugh, but that's kind of funny. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, too soon.
I shouldn't laugh.
It's caught on video.
Really?
Yeah, he's swimming. And you're going to feel really shit about yourself now. Are you ready? I'm getting myself in here. Right. Are you ready to feel really bad about yourself?
Was he the most charitable man in the world? And
Nearly, sir. Yes. 35 years old.
Yeah.
Supposed to be marrying his fiancée next year.
Yeah.
He was practicing swimming for a charity race in the sea when he was eaten by a shark. He was also a massive advocate of protecting nature and marine life, and he's a Brit. He was a British guy that moved out to Australia. I think he was an expat, maybe.
Damn.
So he'd served in armed forces. He was swimming for charity. He helped protect nature. He helped educate people on nature. Eaten by a great white shark, and you're laughing. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Is the floor getting hot? Hang on. Let's just... Yeah. Hell is opening up.
You know,
the demons are below like this right now. Like, we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, it's terrible, but...
No, the worst part is, it's literally someone's caught it on video because they must have been videoing people swimming. He was 100 meters out. He was far out. Like, he was in deep water where most people would not be swimming.
Yeah.
He was also 6'5", so a big dude wearing a black wetsuit.
Yeah.
You look a bit like a seal. You're gonna go in the water. Try not to look like a fucking seal, especially when you're in Australia where they have all of the shit that can kill you.
Yeah.
Like all of the shit that can kill you, bar like 4%. It's like our female demographic. The rest of the world is the female demographic of 4%, and Australia is the 96% of shit that can kill you.
Yeah.
So 6'5", in a black wetsuit, swimming in the open waters. Fucking sharks come up and thought, nice tasty seal. Bang, he's on the surface. The guy's videoing it.
Yeah.
And it just all you see, because I got it sent through on, for my sister lives in Australia. Yeah. So it's WhatsApp and it's kind of fucked up the thing. And I went online to try and see it in better definition because, curious.
Want to see someone get eaten by a shark.
Well, it's just,
And who's the one going to hell here?
Mine was curiosity.
I'm trying to find it in HD.
I didn't look.
Where's the 4K version?
Just listen. I might have had 3D glasses and popcorn. But he's basically just swimming, and then all you see is this thrash of water, and the guy goes, "Holy shit! The guy just got caught by a shark!" Holy, like that, and then you hear from another guy in the back who's going, "Oh no!" And some people think that's him shouting, "Ah!" The guy's shouting, but it's not. It's the dude on the rocks nearby going, "No!" Just what else are you going to do? Yeah. And they're just stood and they can't do shit but watch. And this great white just comes up from underneath, vertical attack, and just goes smack. Doesn't leave the water, but just boom, takes him. And then there's like a thrash, and immediately the thrash of water just turns pink with all the blood, like shockingly fast. Yeah. This thing just must have smushed him. Yeah. Hopefully he felt fucking nothing. Like just chomped in half and done.
Well, it would have gone through his, done. Yeah, it probably would have gone through either his neck or his spine somewhere.
Hopefully it didn't take a limb off and then come back for more. Either way, I would have thought you'd probably be in like a complete and utter adrenaline boost shock. You maybe wouldn't feel too much.
Yeah, I very much doubt it. It would have happened pretty fucking quick.
And then it comes back and it obviously starts ragging him about. Yeah. And then if you look at it, I can't get it because we're recording on the cam and it would disrupt it. Seagulls are following the shark prior. They must know something's happening because there's about 10 seagulls just already there ready to pick off bits the moment the attack happens.
Wow.
and they're just there the whole time. And I didn't notice it the first few times I watched it, but then they're just there, and I just thought, fuck, that's so nature.
Yeah.
Like, no, it just doesn't give a fuck. The seagulls are just like, oh, snacks.
Yeah. Snacks.
Yeah, snacks. They're following this giant fucking killing machine. It's like, I'm gonna get some snacks.
Yeah.
And yeah, just fucking done.
No, I didn't even. So how long did you say that was? That's
like 3 days ago.
No, I mean in terms of like it, until that was the most recent shark attack or fatal shark attack.
Since like I think it was either 1960 or 1953. Those are the two numbers jumping into my head. But they average over the time a number of sharks killed. It's something like one attack a year. One attack a year, but fatally nothing since like 1960s.
Wow. No, I don't know. Like I literally, that's obviously quite. I imagine that's made...
The fact it's caught on video is the worst part.
Yeah.
But you see the vicious of it. Problem being, though, they're going to want to... Australia is bad for this. Shark attack, they go and hunt that shark out and kill it. And that's not how that shit works. I mean, we're in their world, dressed as a fucking seal. Like, it doesn't... If they wanted to kill all humans, they would attack every human that goes in the water, and they would mash us all.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a chance. One fatal attack since 1950s or 60s.
The shark's doing that because it's hungry.
It thinks it's a seal. Yeah. Like, he's out in deeper water, where most humans aren't. The dude's 6'5", athletic, ex-armed forces, I believe. Either way, athletic dude, out doing a swim. So he looks like a fucking seal. It's a vertical attack, so you can see that tells you one thing. It's not stalked him. It's come up and underneath and seen that from that direction. You look like a big seal. Like, surely by now we've developed wetsuits that can... Why don't we have wetsuits that are like the fucking fish that when you look up from the underneath, they look like the sky, and you look down from on top, they look like the ocean. Like, it's simple camouflage. Why don't we just have those fucking things?
Why would you need it to look like the ocean so you don't get attacked by seagulls?
So the seagulls don't snack on your ass.
Yeah, but getting fucking...
Yeah, just fucking... I would want all angles covered.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't care about the seagulls, but I think the idea of being out in deep open water for
in
me,
Australia,
yeah, that's unsettling. It's knowing how much depth is below you and not being able to see. I think
4.5 meter long shark it was.
Fucking,
I reckon 4.5 meters.
They're scary fuckers, aren't they?
It's just a fucking... It's been around since the fucking
prehistoric
dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're still going. That and alligators, they're just...
But what's happened is the families come out and they said they don't want the shark killed because he wouldn't want that.
No, well, exactly. If he was obviously an advocate for
apparently he really was. It just seems like a really top. But it just gets me like this. People, these just good guys seem to go. Like good people seem to get got, and all the assholes just kind of keep fucking trooping on.
Yeah, when's Greg Doucette gonna get eaten by a shark?
Yeah, fucking nobody. Yeah, that'd be a good video.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the commentary.
It took off one of my legs. I can't believe it. I'm not gonna be able to squat. We'd be pushing him back in.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
throwing chum around.
Yeah. Fucking throwing more seagulls, catching seagulls
weighing
and throwing
down
them
with dumbbells.
Yeah.
There you go. You fucking curl that, you prick.
Yeah. Fuck. So no, yeah, I don't listen to the news, I don't read the news because I'm of the idea that one, it's all news is generally bad news, like unless you specifically go hunting for good news. And if anything that's significant is happening, somebody else will tell you about it.
Well, that's what happened with me with the shark.
Yeah.
My sister obviously lives in Australia.
Yeah. Emma reads the news every day, and if anything matters, she'll tell me.
Well, I'm like that, yeah. I've got you or Mark.
Yeah.
We'll
So like something going on in Australia.
It just makes me angry with the world because all it tells you is negative shit. Like for every bad thing it tells you, there's probably been 20 good things that happened. Like I don't need to hear about the dude that mugged a nana for a fish and chips. Like just go find the guy, fuck him up, put him in jail, use my taxes to keep him fucking there. Prick. Right? Cool. Tell me about the people that rescued a girl, you know, from being run over, or rescued an animal from a tree. You know, just happy shit that's got somebody who you know has adopted somebody from a horrible situation. They've gone on to be some fucking scholar that's now helping other people. Like there's millions of these fucking stories we never hear about.
Yeah, that's it. Like I don't know if it's a thing. Surely it's got to be a thing of like just a good news network. It's just focused
I've started actively following. What's it called? It's called something, Good News something, and it is just happy stuff that happens. And I also started Such a fucking child. So following this other one where it's basically voiceovers of animals.
Okay.
And it is the best thing your day will ever have.
All right.
It's like dogs, you know, when they do, like when they go a bit mental and run around, and somebody just voices over going, "I'm speed, I'm lightning, ooh, ooh, ooh. Left, right, left, right, left, right, sofa, 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 back on the floor, left, right, I am speed, watch me fly," and then it runs off. And it's just fucking just like, that is just brilliance. That is what the internet's for.
One of my favourite ones is, you know, where it's always like an animal that's like charging around fast, but someone's like after it, and it's just like, you can't run from the Lord.
There's another one about I'm trying to contact you for renewing your car lease or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But they make me smile, but also they can send you down a rabbit hole of just staying on your phone. So you've got to be careful. Got to be careful.
I think just if there was like a news channel that literally focused on good stuff, that would be great.
What was it?
People wouldn't.
Good news, yeah, just good news. The good news channel.
People wouldn't watch it though. Not enough people would watch it. It doesn't draw. It doesn't draw. It doesn't. It just doesn't draw attention the same way.
It would if it got enough media attention.
Yeah. Like it would be very positive for people's mental state. I think massively.
All the good shit that's happened because there's so much.
I saw a really cool video. I love the videos of Shaq. Like Shaq's a fucking legend.
He just fucks around, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just he's like done everything he needs to do. Because he obviously made a fucking fortune with obviously being a basketball player, and then invested his money very wisely. He owns loads of businesses, loads of properties. And there was this thing, and it literally, like, whenever he goes to a shop, he just buys somebody something.
Oh, I've seen it.
And have you seen the one where there's a
kid
kid...
a dude an engagement ring.
Yes, yeah. And there was another one, there was a kid at a checkout, and he just goes to the kid, and the kid's like 10 or something. And he's like, "Do you have a bike?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Go and ask your mom if I can buy you a bike." And he just walks off. But he's like, he's still Shaq though. He's like, he seems like he's miserable. He's just like, "Go and pick a bike and hurry up." And then
just like a mad dad.
Yeah. And then he goes over and he's with the bikes, and he's just like, "Oh, I used to have one of them when I was a kid. Do you want one of them?" And the kid's like, "No." And he's just like, "Oh, all right, okay, just get what you want. Hurry up."
Oh, I want to watch that with him.
But yeah, he's just fucking such an awesome guy, and he just says like, "I've got so much now. I can't keep it all. So every time I go shopping, it's more enjoyable to just buy somebody something because it doesn't matter to me. Like, you know, a few $100 on a bike. It's literally.
Imagine how important was a bike to you as a kid.
Yeah,
like, dude, that's all I fucking used to do. Home, weather's good, bike.
And the fact that Shaq bought you that bike.
Oh, imagine, yeah. This story.
Yeah, you'd never. That's something that they probably keep forever. Yeah, they're never going to get rid of that bike.
And you would use the shit out of it.
Yeah, that'd be like the best present ever. And I think just having that unique experience, because it's not just for the kid as well, it's the family as well, having that experience of like having somebody kind of do something completely selflessly.
Do you know, I did that one Christmas.
Yeah.
I was in the market in Shrewsbury, and it's got loads of cool stuff. Oh, we went, didn't we? So you remember the cool hat store?
Yeah.
And the so there's it's a permanent marketplace. It's not an outdoor marketplace. It's an indoor marketplace with little restaurants in it and everything. It's basically just like a little mall, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's like a big, almost factory unit kind of, but like a nice looking factory.
It's in a big old school building, two floors. Yeah, because it's got the big like walkway around the edge, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So it must have been an old factory at some point.
Yeah,
something. Yeah. It's cool. It's Shrewsbury. Everything's fucking old and listed. And I was in the hat thing. I was trying to pick out like a hat for my cousin for Christmas or something like that because he wears like Indiana Jones hats. Not ironically either. He wears them. And there was a little kid in there with his parents, and his parents, you know those parents that you see when they're wearing hiking gear but for daily chores.
Yes.
So you know that they only spend the money on shit that they actually need. That's that mentality of, you know, they have no frivolousness to them, no materialistic shit.
Yeah. Because everything is practical.
Everything's practical and only bought on necessity because the money's not really there to use it on anything else. Yeah. And this, fucking hell, this kid, man, he was in there and he tried this little fucking like walking hat on. Yeah. Is with the I think you called him like an Outback hat.
Right.
You know, like Australian style one. I think it was that. And he said to his mum, I was just there listening because there was really well spoken as well. He's like really polite little. He must have been 7-ish, and it's Christmas time. And he looks, he's trying his hat on, and his mum goes, "Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, it does look good. Yeah, I know." And she turns it over, and it's like 30 odd quid or something. And she just goes, well, if you save up your pocket money, and we can maybe come back and get it sometime, and the kid, not normal kids, would be like, why can't I have it? Why nothing? He just went, okay, mum, and just like no quibble, no qualm about it. And I just like the Grinch, my heart grew like an extra size. I was like, oh, this is the sweetest child in the world. Yeah. And so they walked off. I kept staring at him.
Tripped the kid over.
Okay, yeah. He walked off and knocked his heel. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. He's walking off, and as I was staring at the child, and people were contemplating bringing the police, I just thought, I'm going to buy him that fucking hat. Yeah. And I got this hat in the brown bag. And I ran after them, like up toward the market. Well, so let's get straight. I stared at a child for a part of time. I then coveted something in a brown paper bag, and then ran after the child. Yeah. It's not sounding good. Yeah. And so they were strolling up and just having a meander through obviously all the Christmas stuff was there. And I just tapped him on his shoulder. And excuse me. And he turned around with his mum. And I just looked at his mum. I said, I was given a message by Santa, and I've come here because I had to find you. Apparently, you're supposed to have this, and he couldn't get it to. He wanted you to have it now because otherwise it might not have been there for you. So it was just an early present, but it was from Santa. And he took the brown bag and he opened it up, and his mum, obviously taller than him, and he just looked up and just went to his mum with this face like, wow. Yeah. And his mum just looked at me like, what have you done, you weirdo? Yeah. And then I was like, yeah. So apparently, I said, you've been really good. And that was my job. So Merry Christmas. And she just looked at me and just mouthed, thank you, like that. And I just was like, skipped off for the rest of the day.
That's nice.
It was just one of those moments. I thought, that kid deserves something fucking nice.
The fact that he was just like, okay, you didn't.
Nothing. That was what did it for me. Yeah. Just nothing. Looked at her and was like, okay, mum. And just put it back. And just looked at it. When he put it back, he looked at it for a second and then just walked off. And I remember that look because I had that look for a boxer dog toy in my mum's friend's store that was worth £60. And I remember looking at that dog every week when I went in for about a year. And I saved pocket money, £1 a week for a year. Yeah. So it was about 50 odd quid. I think my mum added in the extra that I needed, and I bought that fucking thing after a year. And I remember looking at that dog every time going, you will be mine. Yeah. And then walking out the store. And he had that same look of the hat of, you will be mine. And I just thought, it will be yours. Yeah. Oh, and today it will be yours. Fair point, right? Yeah, it just made me feel really good.
I don't think I've ever done anything like that.
It was, yeah. It was a nice feeling. Put a little good out into the world. Especially at Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I just see his little face, mate, when he opened that bag. He literally opened it, then just this wide-eyed, just, and looks like just, wow. Yeah.
Talking of running after strangers, when I was, it was the other week when I was in London when I went for that light show thing.
Yeah, the thing that you hated.
And I didn't hate it. It just wasn't great.
I think you said was the worst thing you'd ever done.
Worst thing
almost dumped Emma over it.
In the entire universe.
Contemplate your entire relationship with Emma.
Yeah,
because
I was literally gonna book a trip to Switzerland for euthanasia. That was it. After that, the flights were booked.
That's it, you're done.
But I needed my COVID jab before I could go, so they wouldn't let me.
Boycotting it. You were saved by COVID. Yeah. Ironic.
Yeah. No, so I can't even remember what the fuck I was, but London, so obviously crazy busy. Yeah. And basically, I just saw somebody who dropped a ring. They were like messing around in their bag. This woman, she was in like a tennis outfit, like she'd just been playing tennis, fuck knows where, because we were in the central London.
What, like a little short skirt?
Yeah.
In the middle of London?
Yeah.
In the winter?
Yeah. Yeah, she was like...
She a bit weird.
Was
she also wearing 50s? Like a fur hat?
No, she was literally just full tennis get up with like a sports bag.
Brilliant. Was it what's the brand? Wilson?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a Wilson bag. Yeah. I think it was. And
do you remember head bags?
Head bags?
Yeah, the brand.
Oh, Head. Oh, and it's like the fish.
Yeah. Oh, I want one of those.
It was like a half fish.
That was all everyone had at school for ages. Head bags. I was like, they were the first proper where you had a big bag and it was like cool to have that bag. Yeah. All right, I'm going to hunt down one of those. Right, carry on.
Anyway, and just saw that she dropped a ring on the floor and like super busy. I managed to like pick it up. Started like running after her because she'd already started going. She was like, she was on her phone texting like quite quite engrossed in what she was doing, just like battling through the crowds.
It's brave texting in London.
Yeah, and when I shouted "excuse me" like a couple of times, but just didn't hear because it's getting busy. Got there, and she literally had a fucking
Jump
heart
out of
attack.
her skin. Don't they just Londoners?
She was like,
Yeah.
literally like that. And I was like, I've got your ring.
That happened to me. I asked just what I did to get that same reaction from somebody.
What?
I asked them the time. It was a bloke as well, and he literally went. I was like, "Do you have the time?" And he didn't. You know when they like their brain short circuits, and he looked at his watch, and his brain clearly went, "You have forgotten how to tell the time. Show the scary man the watch." And he just went. I was like, "Okay, thank you, you fucking oddity." People in London are fucking weird. They don't talk to each other. It's the busiest place in the country, and no fucker talks to anybody.
Each other, yeah,
it's the busiest, lonely place in the world. For 2 days, it's brilliant. Fucking more than 2 days, it's the miserable fucking asshole of the place.
Yeah, I couldn't. Not in a million years could I live. I'd be exhausted living there.
Do you know, I used to have to go down there a lot for work, for like castings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember one time, I went into Top Man. Do you know where that would be in London? Have you got an idea where that is?
The main
main one. It's on Oxford Road.
Yeah.
So you know Oxford Road, the main road in London.
I actually did some of the signage on that.
Did you? Yeah. Right. So you know where it is. Yeah. That's like an old frontage on that building.
Yeah.
And it's on a corner. So the building's on a corner, but it doesn't sit flush with the corner. The corner kind of curves around it. So as the building's front is here, the frontage has like the next building is slightly further forward than the Top Man building, or Top Shop it is.
Yeah.
So there's like
4 floors or something, hasn't it?
So there's like a corner between the two buildings, but the actual pavement itself rounds all the way around to the outside. So there's this like little pocket in this corner where there's no point in anyone walking because it's not on the curve of the pathway.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of the top man in there after it being a bit busy. If you popped out, and it was so fucking busy. I got almost a little bit like, whoa, a bit mad. Yeah. Like, where are you all fucking? You're not gonna die if you slow the fuck down. And I remember just zipping into that little pocket of that corner and just going, breathe. You don't need to punch anyone in the back of the head. Yeah. You don't need to do it. You don't need to don't punch that woman who stood on your foot in the head who was too busy looking at her phone. Like, just properly, it's like, I fucking hate this place. And then, do you know what I did? I walked to Soho. Yeah. And I was immediately happy. Because gay people smile.
Gay people do smile.
Gay people love me.
I imagine gay people do like
I love gay people.
Yeah.
They're fucking happy, and they're fun, and they're talkative.
Yeah. I like gay people as well. They're great.
Jesus Christ, and that is generalising, but I don't care.
Yeah,
but that's the trick. Go to Soho if you go to London. Mm-hmm. It's a happier place.
Yeah,
and there's a Chocky Wocky Doodah there too.
What the fuck's Chocky Wocky Doodah?
I don't know if it's still going actually. Chocky Wocky Doodah. You don't know what it is?
No.
Specialist chocolatiers. Okay. Used to make crazy wedding cakes. They would hand sculpt and make them to your own order. They do like tattoo style cakes with angels and roses and whatever you wanted. You could have like circus animals, whatever the fuck you wanted. They make it out of their own. They make it out of their own chocolate. Yeah. That there was a secret recipe for, so no one can make their chocolate.
Oh, right, okay.
So chocolate covered cakes. Chocky Wocky, it had its own TV show, Chocky Wocky Doodah.
No.
Yeah, and it used to be in Brighton. Started in Brighton. Then they had the one in Soho, but then the one in Brighton shut down now. So I assume the one in Soho shut down, which is sad.
Or maybe they just moved it all to there.
Maybe, I hope so, because it was available. They were very talented. Yeah, and you could just go in and get hot chocolates and cake.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good place.
What were we talking about?
No idea.
How did we get onto this topic?
But we can carry on about what you did last weekend.
Oh, right.
And we can go into more depth in this. So, come in to the world of psychedelics and opening your mind to the bigger picture that you can't normally see. So, first off, let's give you some background. I do not do drugs. Not interested in them. The whole cocaine, the whole, heroin, not really too interested in that.
Just a little
touch. Boom. Although, if you're going to pop your clogs and you know you're going to go, you just no way around it, I'd definitely have a bash.
Yeah, give heroin a try.
Oh, yeah.
If it's that addictive, surely it's got to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're willing to literally lose your entire family and die from it.
It's
gotta be a coke. Anyway, so
we would do heroin in certain situations.
Yeah,
So
under circumstances that prevailed.
Yes. So yeah, okay, just a little bit of heroin,
Just a little.
So yeah, you're okay. So what we're saying is it's okay to do heroin. That's exactly what we're saying.
Title. I just tried to breathe Jack Daniels. That was worse than the Jerry's and Berries. Ooh, that's a sweet burn. What's the burn? It's a deep burn. Oh, Christ,
Just in case you're not aware, it's not okay to do heroin.
So, yeah, I don't agree with the drug use for kind of... I don't know. It's so sketchy, that whole area. People going to raves and stuff like that, and they're taking all these like MDMAs and all this shit. You don't know what's in that stuff.
What's the term for it? It's like party drugs, isn't it? And like, not that heroin's a party drug. It's like, I suppose, I don't even know.
Recreational drug use, isn't it? Is that what
yeah, but then like weed is still a recreational drug. Like,
yeah. See, even weed, like to me, there's. I don't think that you can smoke weed all the time and be a normal human being.
No, you cannot. No, 100%. If you smoke weed all day, every day, not all day, every day. If you smoke weed very, very consistently for years on end, you will not be as an intelligent person as you could be, and you're actively zoning out of reality. You're choosing to check out for a little bit.
It disconnects you. And that's the good thing about it,
yeah.
In small doses.
Yes.
Is it disconnects you from your hustle and bustle and all the craziness and lets you sit back and look at it and just break it down into its actual working parts and see where all the shit is and get rid of it. Yeah. And that's
you're self-medicating to a certain extent.
Yeah, and there's a huge push in the field of the use of psychedelics now for medicinal purposes to help reduce depression, anxiety, and a whole host of other problems. And there's actually legitimate studies now going on utilizing DMT, ketamine, and there's one other, psilocybin. Yeah. And they're all showing amazing results when under stringent dosing, they help provide people with life-altering relief from anxiety and depression and even suicidal kind of thoughts, as it were. And the reason, so for me, when I lost my grandfather, that was a big loss in my life. He was the man that featured throughout my childhood. He's the person I based a lot of my philosophies off. Mm-hmm. What he said to me and taught to me. I remember him walking down the street with me. We were going to get my cricket bat handle rehandled, rewrapped. Yeah. It's like a rubber grip. Yeah. So I was going to get my cricket bat re-gripped with him. We were walking down the street, and I remember I walked on the roadside to where he was on the pavement, and he would always get me onto the inside of the pavement. So he'd walk on the outside, I'd walk on the inside. And I remember at that point asking, Pop-Up, why do you always make me walk on the inside? He said, well, as a man, when you walk on the pavement, the child or the woman goes on the inside. So that if a car or anything bad comes off the road, I have time to protect you and get you to safety away from the road. And I remember thinking, yeah, Pops has come back. Yeah, Pops the man. And then my mum, when I was walking with my mum in Manchester the other week, when I went down to stay with her, I moved her onto the inside of the pavement. Yeah. And as I did it, she went, oh, that's better. I was like, what? She was like, oh, well, I'm used to walking inside because Dad used to make me do it all the time. My Pop-Up, my granddad. And I was like, that's what he did to me. That's where I get it from. And she was like, oh my God. And it was a real nice little moment we had. And then I said, she goes, do you know why that is, where it originated? She went, no. She went, it's from fighting dragons. I was like, what? She goes, well, it's from the times when people had swords. So they would put you on the side of them that was away from the sword drawn side. Right. So that if danger came, they would draw their sword, usually from the left hip, and swing it out. Whoosh. So they would have you on the right-hand side away from the sword draw. Right, okay. Yeah. Never knew that. It's a lovely little thing. Yeah. Yeah. So now when you walk with them, you should always walk on the outside of the pavement.
I don't really pay too much attention.
Yeah, you just shove into traffic.
I would, to be
Fucking
fair.
Light show, bink, bus.
The thing is, she's really fast, though, so like I wouldn't have to worry. She'd be gone. She would be gone. Yeah, I'd still be stuck
Dangerous to you.
Yeah, well, she's fast because she does athletics and she's good at running and jumping.
And she has a stride, long legs.
Yeah, very long legs, and also she's extremely astute to the very smallest detail. She would have known
like a rabbit.
She's almost like a precog from what's it called? What's it called now with Tom Cruise?
Minority Report.
Minority Report. Yeah, she can. She's
There's a Ford Nova coming around the corner at 27 miles an hour. They're accelerating at a speed of 3 miles per foot.
Yes. The lady driving, her glasses have slipped off her nose, and she's reaching down to get them now.
She's reaching down to
with her blurred vision. She does not see us approaching round the corner.
They're reaching to change the CD to house music from 2003.
Yeah, so she would be. Like, the thing is, some people just have like tendencies, and then that makes them good at certain things.
Yeah.
Like Emma's a really good shot with like when we do like use air rifles. Everything that's like very precise and requires like
multiple things to happen. In a linear fashion.
Yeah, just super sharp. So genuinely, if something like that did happen, she'd know about it before. Like, she wakes up super like on the slightest noise, and she'll know if it's not a normal noise.
I just had a really big cartoon image of Emma like locking into all the sounds. Car sound, acceleration, chavvy car, chavvy driver, and it like going ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And then it's a cartoon of her doing that and being aware. And then it cuts to you, and you're a bit like Scooby-Doo, and you just go, oh.
Yeah. No. Realistically, it would just be.
She's like
still asleep.
Boom, and then she hits you, and you just go, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Normally, Emma will wake me up if there's a noise, and she'll be like, "There's a noise," and I'm like, "Oh, fucking so what?" And then she's like, "I've heard a noise downstairs," and I'll be like, "Right, okay." And if she nudges me again,
take the bat.
If she nudges me again, and then I'm like, "All right," so then I'll just stroll downstairs naked, still asleep, just ready to tackle.
There you go.
Well, no, I'm literally just there because I know nothing's down there, and if there is, I'm going to scare him off because I'm naked.
Yeah. If you've ever fancied a Greco-Roman wrestle with Lou in the nude.
Yeah. I've got a mason jar full of olive oil ready to oil myself.
Just see a CREWCaster in your living room with some baby oil going, "Come on, Lou, let's get it on."
Yeah. Yeah. So,
oh, shit.
But anyway, so I don't need to worry about Emma. She'd leap the car before, and I'd get hit by it.
So circumnavigating back to psychedelics from Lou being naked and getting wrestled in oil. Tangent. That's just a t-shirt. That's all we need is tangent.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. We need to get on that.
Yeah, we do.
We do. CREWCast, mate.
Before we tangent on t-shirts, we need to go back to psychedelics.
So there's been these medical studies, obviously a lot done now, and they're coming through to a scientific approach has been adapted to a lot of these psychedelics that have been around for a long time.
People dealing with like trauma or kind of almost like PTSD like symptoms. There's a lot of evidence that these psychedelics, because they can put you in such a unique state that completely disconnects you from reality, which is where obviously most of your anxiety lies in the real world. Yeah. It gives you fresh perspective.
The reason it gives you a different perspective, well, first of all, yeah. So, yes, you're correct. The fact that all these scientific studies are now being put into practice is a really great thing to show how beneficial these products are. And they're not just some hippie thing where you go on to see bright colours. They're a lesson. And so when I lost my grandfather, it was not awkward. It was an unfortunate fashion because he went the day before I was supposed to take him out for our weekly beer. And I felt like I'd missed my moment with him. Like I felt like I'd let him down because the worst was we put it off one day because it was thundering down with rain. Yeah. So, and taking him out in the rain was a risk to him because he's an elderly guy. He's 99 years old. Yeah. So to push him in a wheelchair down to the pub in the rain because you couldn't really because it was walking distance to the pub. Yeah. You couldn't, and getting him in a car was a whole ordeal. Yeah, that was a nice thing for him is I could just wheel him, down to the pub, and he just, a nice view of the gardens on all the way down and stuff because it's a lovely area where he was staying, and so I felt like it was a hard hit for me. It took a lot out of me when he went, and I had researched for years, and I mean I'm not joking when I say years. Ever since I'd heard of it on Joe Rogan, I'd researched dimethyltryptamine, which is commonly known as DMT. Now, this is a heavy psychedelic. It's probably one of the top psychedelics in terms of the reaction you get when you take it, the visuals, the journeys you go on, the way it opens up your mind is one of the. It's like the high diving board of the psychedelics world. Yeah. So, but I was just intrigued. I read so many stories, and obviously Joe Rogan taking it and spoke a lot about it on his podcast.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was in Ireland, and I actually got in touch with a shaman who used to take people on journeys, and did it in an actual a ceremonial way. Yeah. And I learned all these things from him and through him. And anyway, I ended up going on and utilizing an ayahuasca style DMT trip. Mm-hmm. And I've done a few since then, and they have been the most healing things I've ever done. They've helped me through some really tough patches in life. But the main thing that I found from them, other than the fact that which we'll get onto, which you now understand, it makes you see everything in a very different way, but through your own eyes, to the fact that it is real what you're seeing, because you're awake and you are lucid and you can verbalize what you're seeing. Yeah. And you can talk to somebody else who's also on the same trip level as you, and they can see the same thing and talk to you about the same description. So things like your vision goes 4K. You can count eyelashes on someone's face when they're close to you. Yeah, it's insane.
Some people have asked me about this, and you've mentioned, and I've heard it said, like, you've got HD vision. That's like a thing that's said quite a lot, but that doesn't really sum it up, because...
So the reason that you can now justify it is because you had a
little taster.
You had a taster of a low dose vaporization version. That's not a word. Vaporization? I don't think that's a word.
Vaped. Just say vape.
You had a vapable version of a very low dose, not going to blow you to the moon. Just
What's
like
Vape Nation?
If Vape Nation. If you classed a full DM trip as going into a house, you were at the garden gate.
Yeah.
So you just got the visual representation of what it leads into.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you now understand.
Yes. Yeah. It was like Lex has spoke to me about this a lot, and I've watched multiple videos on it, and you can't really get that much of a comprehension of it. And I've got far further to go, but now I actually get a bit more of an idea, because I've tried some kind of hallucinogens.
Yeah, well,
in the
exactly.
past.
This is the thing. I haven't. I've had you can order them online. You can order truffles and stuff like that online. It's like, but I had truffles. Yeah, they were just like, they made you just feel like you're happy drunk without any kind of residual hangover or anything like that. My friend and I tried them, and expecting some kind of a little bit of a journey, but nothing really at all.
I've had mushrooms like years and years ago, and they felt, it's really hard to explain the difference, but they felt like I was hallucinating. And
really?
So imagine, can you remember those like things that you had at school that were those translucent like pieces of paper that they'd put over the projector, and then you could layer them up so you could have like images. So when I was hallucinating, you've got reality, and then it felt like somebody had flipped one of those translucent layers over the top. So there was stuff that was on top of reality.
Huh.
With DMT, it felt like somebody had lifted the layer, and it was what was underneath reality.
Yes.
So opposed to a layer being added, it was a layer being removed. And
this is why it's so...
It felt very different to anything that I've done before.
We produce dimethyltryptamine in our own bodies. It's what people are flooded with in those near-death experiences that they're able to talk about. We're flooded with it when we go, regardless. But those that talk about the near-death experiences, if you go and watch a Netflix special on the thing, I think it's called like near-death experience or something like that, or coming back from death or something like that, they're basically describing a DMT trip. Yeah. Like picture for picture. It's insane. You'll understand when you watch the thing. You'll be like, and obviously if you experiment more, you'll just be like, oh shit, they're describing that. So the fact of is we produce this within our own body, and that's important, because what it means is that the DMT is designed to work within our own natural pathways already. Unlike psilocybin or LSD and all these things which are exogenous and cause our brain to fire in ways that it maybe otherwise wouldn't, DMT utilizes our own pathways that the brain should be firing along, and that we have the ability to link, but can't anymore because we basically oxidize so for those that don't know, you can find DMTs within nature. It's everywhere. It's in the food that we eat all the time. It's just it's inactive because we have an enzyme that basically breaks it down and oxidizes it the moment it hits our gut. So it's never active. But I have a theory that so this same enzyme that breaks down the DMT and stops it being active is the same one that we require to digest some meats.
Okay.
So if you think back to times when maybe we were more tertiary eaters, where we would infrequently eat meat, only when it was hunted in small amounts, and not like today we eat it every single day.
Yeah, we
rely more heavily on the land and all that. Yeah, there was probably a point where we were living off the land much, much more, and we were utilizing the DMT from within our diet, and we were probably on a higher plane most of the time as just a normal life. And it puts you more in touch with everything. You can see almost like the energy, you can almost see and feel the energy that is around you and in things, and you can sense even past energies.
Yeah, one of the things, like, so for me, again, it was, like you said, kind of the garden gate. It was quite subtle. Yeah. The thing that was most surprising, so firstly, it hit out of nowhere. So like there was nothing, and then all of a sudden,
but this is the vape style of it. This is I don't really like that so much.
I found it fascinating.
It is, and because you were still so lucid,
yes,
you were able to just completely talk to me whilst you were doing it and tell me exactly what was happening.
That was the thing that was amazing. I was literally just me, exactly the same as I am on a podcast. I could have gone and made a fucking cheese sandwich. I was just normal Lewis.
In that state, yes.
There was again
further down, it would plant you a little more, yeah.
But then I'd just been dropped into this other, this.
You just dropped into a reality that was not always there. It's something you can't always see, but is always there.
Yeah, and there was just so much more to reality.
And it's so interesting that you describe mushrooms as being a layer put over it and the DMT as a layer unveiled.
Yeah.
That is so crazy because I've just never had the mushrooms.
Yeah.
But to me, this is so important. People who've suffered tragedies or real upheavals in life and things like that. The great thing about it is when you go deeper, it will make you face things, but not in a bad way. It makes you face them in terms of it shows you what they are. It shows you the trigger of what causes the feeling from what this situation was, and the feelings that you're now feeling from it, the triggers that cause those feelings. And it shows you these triggers so that now you know why you feel that way because of this thing. And now that you know the reason you feel this way, you no longer need to feel it because now you know why you were feeling it because of this invisible trigger that was constantly setting you off. Yeah. And that can free people. It can actually free people because now they're aware. And it's usually the things that you're unaware of that make you upset or make you depressed or make you feel low energy or make you feel worthless. You don't know why, but you know you feel those things. And one sense, just as an example, I learned that during obviously the disintegration of my marriage and having to start leading separate lives, there's a point where there was a real struggle to do that. Mm-hmm. We're still living together, and there was a point where it was very obvious we needed to part. Yeah. But I had a lot of anxiety in letting that happen because in my nature, I don't want people to suffer or be in any kind of. I don't like people being felt to be alone or in need.
Yeah.
And I was struggling to have that separation and let it go until they were in the perfect place for them to go. Yeah. Which was obviously never going to happen. Yeah. There's never a perfect time for something like that.
No,
never.
It's terrible for everybody.
No, it's always going to be bad. There's always going to be upheaval. It's always going to be hurtful. It's always going to hurt. But I realized on one of my journeys that the feeling that I was having was triggering. The reason I was having such a strong feeling towards it was because the situation was triggering a feeling I had from my mum when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and she was really upset, and she was struggling. There was no one there to help her, and I was 8, and I remember in that moment, the memory came back to me. I wanted to grow up in that moment and become a man, so I could help my mum, and remove this problem for her, be the man. And this situation was triggering that emotion. So the emotion I was feeling was not actually for the situation. I was okay with the situation, but the emotion I was feeling was the trigger for the memory I was having from my mum being in a similar situation.
Yeah.
So the moment I realized that, within a week, everything was resolved.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, it'd been 6 months.
Yeah, I can see
Huge.
I can see how the changes in perception, because, like you said,
Well, it shows you.
Yeah, you see a lot more.
It's like your brain's bringing forth these words for you to listen to. It's like you have the answers, you're not accessing them until you're given this opportunity, and it shows you the problem, and then it slowly layers on the solutions to the point where you go literally out loud, "Oh my God," and then you have this moment of absolute realization.
It's almost like, because obviously when people people have problems, one of the best things to do is to talk to somebody about
100%.
it. So whether that be a therapist or talking to a friend who you trust to
somebody who doesn't have an agenda.
Someone who's got your best interests at heart, and somebody who's relatively got this shit together.
Well, no, not even that. Somebody who just can look at things in a good black and white context, and doesn't take a side too easily, and just makes you and opens up things to you, like saying, "Well, why do you feel that way?" Rather than telling you why.
Yeah, because that's it. I think a lot of the time with therapy, a lot of the time it's not that they're not going to listen to you and be like, "Okay, you need to do this." They're not going to just give you answers.
No, they never do.
A big part of that is going to be you discover the answers for yourself, and part of that process is the conversation. When you start to verbalize things, that's when you start to process things in a bit more of a thorough way.
Yep.
A lot of the anxiety and the stress and the depression that we have, they're not necessarily logical thoughts, they're just feelings that aren't fully formed thoughts. So when we have to verbalize them to somebody else, we've got to process them a little bit better. And I imagine when you're kind of doing psychedelics, it almost it bypasses that process of needing to have a conversation.
No, you're right.
It just presents forward some of that information that you've buried that deep down. You don't even realize there's a connection anymore, and then it's just like, oh yeah, this is actually that.
Yeah,
and it kind of just pushes it forward, pushes it to the front.
Breaks the chain of that emotion and feeling, circular, just coming back circularly all the time. Just boom, because you're cyclic, aren't you? If you can never break the chain, it's just a cyclic emotion that's going to keep returning every time there's that trigger.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. The way the human brain works is on a day we can't look at everything that's around us. We see in. We react differently within our heads to the environment around us. We can see everything around us, but we can only focus on one thing. So I can only focus on you now. And I'm aware there's other things here, but I can only focus on you. And our thought process is even slower than that. Our thought process is really linear. We can only think of one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we get confused. So we become very narrow. We become very narrow in our mindset when we only think of one thing at a time. And what psychedelics do is they take away the narrowness of the way our brain wants to work and opens up all of the pathways and takes in all of the environment and all of the answers and all of the questions in one go, and then slowly sorts them out for you into an order. Yeah. And that's why I think the DMT works so well, is because we produce it naturally. It's meant to function within our body. Our body is completely and utterly capable of taking every particle of the DMT and breaking it down in its entirety. Yeah. There's nothing in there that's going to keep bouncing around doing something that the body shouldn't be doing. Yeah. Which again is why it's very predictable, and in my opinion one of the better ones to do, because there's going to be a nice bell curve to it. Yeah. In, deep, out, done. Yeah. Unlike mushrooms, where it's like in, has it worked? I don't know. I don't know. Bang. Yeah. And then by that time you might have taken more because you didn't think it was working. Now all of a sudden you're in an 8-hour fucking world of, Yeah. And there's no control either as well. And again, I don't think it makes the brain fire in a normal fashion. Whereas I think the DMT actually just accentuates the way in which the brain works.
Yeah. From my limited, very, very, very limited experience with it the other day, I was completely normal Lewis. Just everything around me had changed, which was a very weird situation that I've never experienced before with any drug that I've tried. It just
allows you to expand that vision that you have, both mentally and visually, and it allows you to take in more. You're just taking in more.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Again, describing to somebody else, it felt like because there's so much around us, we kind of have to filter everything. Our brain can't process all of the things in great
That's
detail.
a good way of describing it. We filter out, which means you miss so much.
Yeah, there's so much that is just being filtered just because we can't absorb that much information on a daily basis. We'd be bombarded by everything.
Yeah.
And it felt like...
It would be chaos.
Yeah, it felt like that filter just wasn't there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't overwhelming. It was... I did get a slight feeling occasionally of like a little bit...
Which you will, because it's something new and you're absolutely not used to seeing it.
Yeah. And
so
it was...
anything new is a little bit scary.
Shall I describe
go.
like what I kind of saw or what it felt like? So...
Bearing in mind, the setting is hugely important whenever you do anything like this.
That's the same with all drugs, isn't it?
Fucking not. Be at a party where some bloke whips out a vape full of some shit and goes, "Hey, try this," and because it's not going to be a good time.
Yeah,
it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be uneasy. It's going because there's too much going on, and it'd be basically like giving you a superpower and just kicking you out into the world to try and learn how to use super strength without giving you any kind of lessons or anything. Don't do that. So.
I don't think anyone should do any drug unless they are
in a controlled environment.
In a controlled environment, and they're very aware of what that drug does and how
researched
it affects the body.
how it works, the effects of it, what you're likely to feel, see, hear, taste, even.
Yeah.
You need to know every single thing about everything, and you need to be very, very sure that it's something you want to try, and there need to be reasons why you want to try it.
How much time have we got?
We're right.
We're all right.
Yeah, loads.
Okay.
We're into an hour and 11.
All right.
Yep. So. You need to make sure you've done your research. You know what to expect. One thing that I will say is, whenever anybody does, I broke down anything that you might feel prior to going in, and awareness is huge, because if you're aware that you might feel a certain way if that does occur, you're already aware of it. So the moment it happens, you go, "Oh yeah, I was told this would happen," and then you relax because you were told, and then it flows. It's when one of the biggest sayings with DMT is, "If you resist, it will persist." So if something's starting to happen and you start to try and fight back against it, it'll just trap you in that moment.
Yeah.
Because the idea is you need to let things take you. You need to let them take you. And if you fight it, like we spoke about this with, we'll call him TRT Doctor. Imran, but I don't know if we remember. Will you remember Imran?
Yeah. Dr. Imran.
He's been involved in scientific tests with utilizing DMT, although he used 5-NMAO DMT, which is fucking whoop. That's like super rocket DMT. I'm pretty sure I think that's what he said he used.
Yeah, it was the super.
And then
super
even
fuel.
when he did, I think he did one on normal DMT as well, but they hit him with like 5 times the normal dose because they were testing threshold variations and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said when he fought it, it was like everything was going crazy because he was fighting. The moment he relaxed, just boom, gone. And so this is a huge thing with it. And if you were to like giving it by like for some fucking idiot who told you nothing, thought it's funny for you to take it, you're gonna have a horrible time because it's gonna be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So yeah, research, doing it so the environment in which Lou had it was very structured. There's a certain playlist playing with binaural tones involved within the playlist. Nothing was overly lit, everything was softly lit, and we were very comfortable and relaxed prior.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, that's probably applicable to most drugs or alcohol or anything. If you want to get the best experience, make sure you're in a nice environment. So, we gone?
So, and last week we had a fuck up with this camera, and we didn't know. And the problem with this fucking thing is you don't know until post. Everything looks normal, but the file comes up as a DAT file, which is just a data file. And no matter what I do, it was 24 gigs worth of a DAT file, which is why we lost. I actually edited out a lot of last week's podcast to shorten that blackout.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Luckily, we talked about inane shit that I could just wipe out quite quickly.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of your conversation about T-shirts with obscure names on them as a result.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if anybody knows, as far as I could see, a DAT file is just an error where the camera hasn't put its codec onto the information it's been recording, and it's unsaved. I just could not bring it back. But so we're trying to avoid that now. Seems to be an error with updates in the phones compared to Canon's app, because Canon, you suck. Okay, carry on.
That's a perfect segment that we can edit out if something goes wrong, because no one knows what that means anyway. But yeah, so in terms of what happened when I took a few hits of the vape.
Bearing in mind, very low dose. We're
Yes.
talking couple 100 milligram in an entire mil of vape liquid, which is super low.
So the first thing I noticed, because again, dim lights, they bloomed up quite a lot. And it wasn't artificial, like everything didn't light up. It was just around the lights, literally as if there was a dimmer switch, and that dimmer switch got cranked right up.
Bloom is a good word.
Yeah, and the TV was on, and there was a fireplace kind of like display on there, which was probably a little bit too intense because
rapid movement.
Yeah, the fire was flickering. It was quite fast, and the bezel of the TV almost folded back on itself to the point where the fire just felt like it was in the room.
Yeah,
and the flames seemed to speed up a lot. During this period of like kind of getting into the trip a little bit, like it felt a little bit manic. There was a little bit of like fuzziness and jitteriness, and I could kind of feel myself elevating into the trip.
That's where the brain is opening up, and you're taking in more information than you used to, so it starts to feel a little chaotic, which can be expected with these things. But that's when you are told, if you feel it's speeding up, and it's just don't resist, let it take you. And the moment you did that, you said, you asked me, is that fire doing something? And I just went, just breathe. I remember I started counting you. 1, 2, 3, and you just went, ooh. And you're all right again then. Yes. Immediately you were okay, like within a second.
Yeah, it was. It was literally just because everything was just so crazy so quickly, because it literally went from 0 to 100. Well, not like 0 to 100.
You went to about
15. 0 to very honestly, noticeable.
You went to about 15.
That's that's fine, but like it was just the speed in which it happened. I've got used to smoking weed where it's super gradual and you just like ease your way into it. Whereas this, I was like nothing. Within a few seconds later, I was like, boom. Within like 30 seconds, I'm in a different fucking world.
Yeah,
like,
which is true with the vape. It's the way it happens. But see, the ayahuasca style of doing it, which is the way I would personally think is the most beneficial in terms of you having a life change. Well, not I suppose I'd say life changing. Yeah. It is a life altering or a clarity within your life. I think because I think there's an ayahuasca style which you do it where it lasts 3 hours, but you have to drink an inhibiting brew before, which stops that enzyme that breaks down DMT from breaking it down. It basically binds with that enzyme and makes it inactive for up to, I think it's like 4 or 5 hours it lasts, but the DMT will run out before that does anyway. Because unless you, what they call breakthrough on DMT, so whilst you're still awake and lucid, you are still within the garden. You're not in the house at any point. When you break through, you are asleep. Yeah. You literally just, little nod off, and you'll be gone for 10 minutes maybe. Yeah. But you fucking go to outer realms. Yeah. You go to the next dimension. Yeah. So I've never done that. I've never broken through that way. Yeah. And I don't really have a desire to, because it feels a little more, like you said, there's a little bit more of the chaos to it, but also it feels like it's not. I feel like when you do it the other way, when you like people do ayahuasca trips, I feel like you are led into it. You do break through. I've definitely broken through during that time, but it's you're taken rather than dropped in. Yeah. And I feel like you go on much more of a journey and an experience. Don't get me wrong, I do think breaking through, you will have moments, but there's so much in such a short period of time. Even though time kind of becomes irrelevant when you're in it, it will seem much, 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 much longer than the time you're in. But there's no way of getting around that you're only really gone for 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah. So I
remember asking you, I was like,
how long has it been?
Yeah, how long has it been? Because it was only like 5 to 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, that's literally all it'll last.
With the vape anyway,
and that's all it would last, even if you broke through. But because it's all or nothing. Yeah. If you my point was, if you don't break through, you won't learn shit. Yeah. You won't do anything other than have these realizations of, oh fuck, there is definitely more around us. You will have that, but you will not learn anything or meet the goddess or go on these journeys of real inward kind of challenge.
It was very...
Because you're still open-eyed and lucid.
Yeah.
And so my issue with the vape is if you don't break through within like the first couple of moments of taking it, your brain is oxidized so fast by the DMT that it then becomes impossible to kind of break through, and you have to leave it to reset for hours and hours and hours. So it's kind of you either make the jump or you don't get there, and all you'll get is crazy visuals.
That did happen to me because I've not got much experience using like a liquid vaporizer. And I was trying to, because I remember trying my friend's like e-juice vaporizer thing, and it making me cough like crazy.
Yeah, it's so weird because you will smoke the dry herb weed, no issue whatsoever. Yeah. And with this though, you had some kind of like
it made me cough,
mind block.
But but what I think it was, because I was all right after. I think because I was trying to inhale it very softly and like not really take just a deep pull. So I was there like slow and steady.
You have to breathe like it's a normal breath.
Yeah, and I was going slow and steady, and I think that's what actually made it more tickly for my throat.
Yeah, maybe.
And then when I was able to take a proper pull on it, that's when it was actually fine. So yeah, I think me being more cautious made it worse. But that's just because me remembering last time I tried to use one of those like e-juice vaporizers, just making me cough and splutter.
Did it have actual nicotine stuff in it?
It had nicotine in it, and it was like some kind of horrible...
They blow your
like
arse out. I remember my...
minty flavour.
Because over COVID, my younger sister came to stay, and she was vaping. Yeah. Thankfully, we've reduced her down now to like fuck all nicotine vape thing to get her off it. But she had... I got her a vape here because hers broke, so I ordered her one in, and I ordered like a tank thing. I didn't know what I was ordering, so I just ordered a good one. She was like, Jesus Christ, like this thing's poof.
Yeah.
You know? But so she put it in, and I was like intrigued by it because she was pluming it out like.
Yeah.
I was like, does it taste nice? She was like, have a go. I was like, all right. Now I have taken cigarettes off people who said that I don't smoke because I just can't hack it. Like one of their arguments was always, you just didn't like it because it made you cough a lot when you tried it. I was like, no, it didn't. They were like, whatever. And I remember taking a cigarette out of someone's mouth and then sucking on it as hard as I could, like in front of their face, staring, like doing the eye stare, like. Yeah. Holding it in and then just going and blowing it in their face, and I went, see, it's just disgusting, and then giving it in the back. And so with this vape thing, I was like, well, fuck, I can do that with cigarettes, I can do it with cigars and whatever. It's never bothered me. I literally went, the moment it hit the back of my throat, I was like, I was coughing like a fucking 19-year-old dog.
Yes.
That's
what I was like.
Fuck. What the fuck? But what you had, zero nicotine, it's just.
I think it's because my only experience with it before, I was just cautious. But anyway, so let's actually go back to our experience.
Yeah.
So firstly, lights bloomed up.
Light bloom.
The TV kind of didn't become a TV anymore. It kind of the edges rolled back, and then the TV became the flames became almost real. I could still tell that they were on a surface.
You lost perception that they were within a TV.
Yes, it became very real, and they seemed to move extremely fast.
Yeah, until you relaxed. And then they stopped immediately. Yeah.
What it felt like as I was dropping in, the only way I can describe it, imagine someone's got a massive fat book and they're just flicking through the pages and just going like, and you can hear the pages flickering and they're flapping down, and then all of a sudden when you reach the page that you want to get to, which is the level of the trip that you're at, depending on how much you've inhaled, really then the book's just open. So you've just got flicking through pages and then the book's open.
That's a really good analogy.
That's how it felt. And then everything's just calm, and then you've got all the information you need. You're at the page you want to be at. And it was very peaceful. And then I was like,
I'm here.
And that kind of air being sucked out of the room. Again, I struggled to understand what that kind of meant. But it's the sound, it's just the silence. Everything just all of a sudden becomes very crisp. And
bearing in mind, we have music playing here as well that is helping in this moment as well. It's a very specific playlist full of specific music designed for this with binaural tones going on. It's very soft. There's almost lots of kind of not like harps, but you know what I mean, that kind of Enya type-esque stuff.
Yeah, you lose the kind of the static that we hear, that all just disappeared. And have you ever been somewhere that was so peaceful and you're like, fuck, I can't hear a thing?
Yeah.
It was like that.
There is one tune that is just honestly one of my favorite things in the world.
Oh, is that what you were telling me about?
It feels honestly, it's the same sensation I believe you'd have if you were to be in space in zero gravity, with your eyes closed, and just an utter moment of peace. It is what this one style of music just creates when you're within that realm, and it goes on for like 15 minutes, and it's absolutely beautiful. Actually, it's Alan Watts. It's the Boretta soundtrack to what he uses for the Alan Watts meditation that I tell people to use in the morning. It's on my playlist. If you go on Spotify and search Wake Up Lex Griffin, it's like a nice happy morning playlist, or just a get yourself kind of going playlist, and it's got an Alan Watts meditation in there where he talks you through it. That background music that's in there, it's that music, right, which is why he uses it for the meditation.
Okay, all right. So yeah, flicking through the pages, and then just like everything's calm, everything's you just there. And before I get into the actual like visuals of what things look like, there was a sensation, or like a feeling that was kind of a familiar feeling, but this doesn't really sum it up that well, but this is as close as I can get. So imagine that you've just opened a door to a secret party that's going on, and you've just opened the door and walked in, and then the party's just like stopped and everyone's like looking at you for a second, and then you kind of walk in and you close the door behind you, and then everyone's just like, oh, and then just carries on at the party, and then you're in. So you have this like moment of realization of you've just discovered something, and then everybody's looking at you and you feel a bit self-conscious, and then you get accepted, and then you're just part of it. So that was it. There was like a bit of discovery, self-conscious slightly, and then acceptance, and you just can enjoy the environment. That's the only way I can, and that's the feeling that I had.
And any troubles you have are attacked in the same way.
Yeah.
Showing it.
Yeah.
So the moment of, there's that thing.
Yeah.
Acceptance of what it is.
Yeah.
And then how you move past it.
So yeah, that's the feeling that kind of went with it. And then I was just, like I said, I was just me. And visually, everything was more so that, again, the HD thing, that doesn't sum it up.
4K.
You can look at a HD TV or a 4K or an 8K TV and be like, oh shit, that's super crisp. That looks great. It's more than that.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's more than what you can normally see. So you can't compare that to anything that you can see, because it's just that much more extreme.
And the crazy thing is if you're in a lucid state with somebody else like that, and you point out something and you say to them, "See that thing over there?" You go, "Yeah." Describe that to me now. The details you see, they will describe to you without knowing exactly what you're seeing, and so you'll be like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. We are here now, correct? Yes. You and I are talking. Yes. We are not in any kind of dream. We are lucid. We're talking to each other. We're in a physical environment. Yes. Yes. So why the fuck can't we see that on a normal goddamn day?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's bizarre. And just the room became everything. So I had like several moments where things were slightly different. So at one point, everything was very perfectly rendered. All of the surfaces were very
crisp and clean.
Yeah, everything was clean. It was almost too perfect. You know, in some of those early stages where they tried to do kind of CGI films, and they weren't.
You couldn't see the grit and the dirt.
Yeah, there wasn't enough imperfection in them, so they looked artificial because they were too perfect. Everything almost became a little bit like that. Everything gets smoothed out. Everything's very sharp. All the edges on everything become very pronounced, and the depth between everything becomes much more noticeable. Obviously, we're in a 3D environment where we can perceive depth perception, but depth becomes more apparent.
Yeah.
And although everything's in more detail, the imperfections do get like glossed over slightly, which is kind of hard to explain.
That will change though, dependent on where you're at certain points. That is an initial stage.
Okay, yeah. So that's what,
so
again,
if you were
all of this is just what I've had.
If you were to focus on imperfections, it would start to show you the imperfections.
Right.
But then it would also show you why you don't need to focus on those imperfections, or why they are a good thing.
Okay.
This is the wondrous thing about it. So you hear about people have ayahuasca trips and things like that, and so ayahuasca is different, and it has, so the thing that stops the enzyme from breaking down the DMT is called an MAOI inhibitor. Mm-hmm. Ayahuasca has a self-inbuilt MAOI inhibitor when you have it. That it's two leaves brewed together. So the ayahuasca trips can last 8 hours or much longer, because they're in conjunction with one another. Whereas the DMT one requires a seed called Syrian rue, and it's the harmalas within the Syrian rue that inhibit the enzyme, which then allow the DMT to be active, which is probably what we ingested more at some stage in our species evolution or civilization, some which we now know were wiped out way early and had to restart many times over. If you haven't listened to Graham Hancock or what's he called, Randallson, you don't know? You don't know about this? Oh shit! Oh, I've got some podcasts you need to listen to. You need to listen to Graham Hancock and I want to say Kevin's wrong. It's Randallson. You idiot, Lex.
Are you thinking
It's
of
offensive.
Kevin Randleman?
It's Randleman. Jesus, what a monster UFC fighter. No, now you've got Randleman in my head. And my brain's like, yep, that'll do.
Kevin Randleman.
What was it I said? Randallson.
Randallson, yeah.
I want to say something like Carl Randallson. I think that's wrong. Search Graham Hancock, Randallson. They work together a lot. And they have proven that. So they basically uprooted the entire history of human evolution in terms of, human civilization. Sorry, not evolution. They've proven that what we used to think was the start of our archaeological age, where we were able to understand maths and astrology and architecture, they've proven that we knew this 10,000 years prior to what archaeology has previously told us. Because there's this discovery of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which dates back to something like I think it's like 11,000. So they think that we've only been able to build megalithic structures since about 6,000 BC, whereas Göbekli Tepe dates back to like 11,000 BC, which also dates back to a point where they believed there was a cataclysmic occurrence that wiped out most of the known humanity at the time.
So then we started again.
They've now found an impact site in Greenland under the ice where they've taken core samples that show evidence of an impact 11,000 years ago, where there's and enough of it would have been a 3 kilometer wide asteroid that landed and would have caused basically nuclear winter, essentially. An extinction event. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So before we go off too much down that route, definitely tell me about that later.
No, the route's important though, because there's a time where we weren't eating like we were eating, and we were using much more land. We were eating foods that were inhibiting, like the ayahuasca plant. These people found this. This was found years and years and years ago. They found Roman artifacts, where wine vases, where they've been preserved in such a way that they've been able to analyze what was in these wine jugs and what the ingredients were, and they were called it spiced wine. It's in all the literatures you can read, and in this is an ayahuasca-like plant that was around at the time. I can't remember the name of the plant. You can research yourself; it'll pop straight up. Their generals used to go and do these trips, and there's this huge. You can read it in their scriptures about them visiting the goddess before battles. They used to go and basically do fucking ayahuasca trips or DMT trips prior to battles to get information from the fucking goddess, from the universe, about what to do and where to deal with issues in civilization, what was going on, and where they should go and where they should travel and where they should conquer and how they should rule. This is what our fucking politicians should be doing now, for fuck's sake. It's
Boris. There we go.
Further down, dude.
Comment. If you're on YouTube, comment, get Boris on DMT.
Yeah, there you go. Do it for the algorithm.
Yes, do it for the algorithm. It all helps.
But honestly, it dates back so far. This is not something that we've started using now. They used it from thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago to civilizations we didn't even know existed. We're using it. The Bible, if you want to go that far, the burning bush, they've proven that burning bush is a psychedelic bush.
All right.
Go fucking Google that shit. It's a common bush, and it's the same one I think the Romans used, and there's a name for it. I do not know. I could research it now, but I can't because the fucking phone's been used to film the camera. And it's a psychedelic bush. It's what they used to use to spice the wines. So if you had this bush that was burning near you, you're inhaling the fumes of this bush, you would have a psychedelic experience because you were basically smoking DMT.
Right. Amazing.
It tracks back thousands of years. It's been in our evolution, and we've only stopped using it
more
now.
recently.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That really is. So I think it's basically it's just such a integral part of humanity.
It's something we should be in connection with, and we are not anymore.
Yeah.
much like the ground and the earth, where everyone shits on that grounding. People don't understand the benefits of grounding. We have an electrical charge that runs through us, yet we walk around all day on rubber soles, on concrete foundations of houses, not connected to the earth anymore. That's why it's so important to just go and put your fucking feet on the earth, or go out when you go out for a walk. Just sit against a tree or put your hands on a tree for 10, 15 minutes. They can literally show charge leaving the body. They can literally measure it as it dissipates out into the earth and helps, because we have an electrical charge. We are a fucking walking battery. And to be connected to the earth is something that was often, associated with hippies and tree huggers. And that's where the saying comes from. But there is purpose behind all of that. They were the extreme version of it, but there is a reason we're designed to be out in nature and be connected to it. We weren't born into the earth. We have this thing, we were born into life, born into the earth. No, we were born from.
Yeah.
We come out of it.
Yeah.
And we keep separating ourselves from it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why going for a walk, and we all learned this during COVID, getting outside, fresh air, going for a walk, being in nature, fucking it's healing.
I think a lot of people fell out of that habit as well. Like,
Huge.
so many people picked that up, getting out in nature, going out walking, going out for runs, going out for just anything.
Yep.
Even if it was just in your back garden, if you've got a back garden.
It's still the earth, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people now seem to have fell out of that habit.
I fell out of it. I felt like shit. I've gone walking again. Went again the other day, just yesterday. Went out walking because I knew today I wouldn't be able to because of the storm, although I fucking could have. Because Eunice, you're a bitch. Fucking. That's what she was saying. Have a bit of that. Fucking. Yeah, so I'm annoyed now because I didn't get to come for a walk today, but it's a great thing. I was out walking in the rain yesterday, just like, well, I'm going to get wet. Listening to Alan Watts on my headphones, having a wander, went and stood in a waterfall and made a cool video.
Yeah. Skin's waterproof, ain't it? So.
Exactly. Yeah. We need to be out there. Honestly, I just go out and I get to this little point where the river meets and there's a little bridge and that, and I put my hand on a tree and I just sit there with my hand on the tree. I have hugged trees. There's a giant tree in a graveyard up the way. Have I shown you that one? Have we been on that wander? No. It's a beast. It's like, when you look at it, it's so massive. It's like this wide. So what's that, like 1.5 meters wide?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that?
Yeah.
And it's just, when you look at it and you actually look up at it from the standing at, if you stand at the trunk and then look up, it's a living fucking monster. This thing's a giant monster growing out of the earth. Yeah. And when you look at it like that, you're like, because we're so used to seeing trees, you just kind of lose that perspective of it.
Yeah, you forget that's a big living thing.
This is centuries old. And it's this fucking being just growing out of the fucking earth. You don't think that touching that thing and sitting by it for a little bit is going to do you some good? Yeah. The shit's rooted in the goddamn earth. Yeah. And so I will do that. And a hand on a tree is good enough. You don't have to hug a tree. Just put your hand on a fucking tree.
Anyone's seen the end of Avatar? That's basically Lex.
Yeah, it is. And there's just, well, that's the story of Avatar.
Yeah.
It is. That's the whole, undertone of the movie. And honestly, I guarantee it, you go for a walk 5 out of 7 days of the week, and then next week don't go for any walks, and tell me that you don't feel shitter, because you will. I guarantee it. I'm not talking like hours and hours and hours of treks, just half an hour.
Yeah. Even less if that's all you can do. If you can just get out for 10 or 15 minutes, that's
something's better than nothing. Yeah, just outside, out the four walls, into fresh air, just out of the way of just human intervention.
And I think as well, if you've got an opportunity to do this and integrate it into your day, if it's like, you could drive to the shops, you could just walk, and then it's a 10 or 15 minute walk. Just fucking walk. Just do it. Like,
do the walk.
Even if it's just around the streets, it's better than nothing.
It is.
It really is. And
at least you're getting the fresh air.
Yeah.
Sun on your skin.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Where was I at with it in terms of?
You were a secret party.
So okay.
Just been.
So I was talking about how everything seems very perfect. Everything was very.
And you were about the vision.
Yeah.
So 8K.
So yeah, it is not a real representation to say it's HD, because you can look at a HD TV, see it's better, or 4K or an 8K and see it's better. It's just beyond what you can actually see. So that's just gives you an idea. If you were comparing our normal vision as HD and then you looked at an 8K TV, you'd see a difference. But you can't really comprehend it until you've seen it.
It's indescribable.
Yeah, it's just everything sharper. So some of the more so it was fascinating. I wished I was there longer so I could look at more stuff, and I just didn't realise how quickly it was going to be over. So some of the things that I looked at, So my forearm.
Oh yeah.
So I could see every single, like, I can look at my forearm now and see all the hairs, but I can only really pay attention to like a little cluster, a small area at a time.
Yeah.
So I could see every single hair across my entire forearm, and it was very clearly defined. The hairs almost seemed thicker. They were very prominent, and I could see little pulses going through each one of the hairs.
Because we're batteries.
Yeah, it was almost like a fiber optic cable, just little pulses slowly going through them. And I don't know, as I was looking at them, I don't know whether I got goosebumps, because what happened to all the hairs, they all, if you're watching on the camera, they all kind of like, they're running down my arm at kind of an angle. They all kind of kicked up, and then they started like curving back. Very similar to what would happen if I did get goosebumps. But I couldn't perceive any goosebumps, but my hairs were moving, and it was almost like I could see them growing.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I experienced. Also, my hands were fascinating. Everyone has like the hand thing. So I held my hands open and side to side, so my thumbs were pointing out and my palms were at my face. And I closed my hands in and then back out. And as you do that, your hands just naturally wrinkle up as you're kind of crushing them together. But as they wrinkled, my hands got older.
Yeah.
And then as I opened them out, they got younger again. And I was able to like age and youthify my hands.
Time traveling hands.
Yeah, and it was very bizarre. Like the wrinkles were.
So that might have led to a deeper realization of the tension within your fists, and this holding is aging you and deteriorating. This tension within the hand. If you would have gone deeper, it might have taken you on a different path, like something you need to learn. Yeah. But that could have been the start of some kind of journey. Have you seen that? And like a symbolism.
Yeah, it was.
Or it could have just been a cool thing.
Yeah, it might have just been just some cool visuals, but basically all of the because you look at your hand now, and if you really look, you can see infinite amounts of wrinkles. There, loads of tiny little ones, and all of those became extremely apparent. Like,
you
could very detailed see every single kind of crease and wrinkle in the hand, which maybe that's why I was perceiving it as old, because it was accentuated.
You could see more of them, yeah.
So that was some of the other things I saw. Also, when I looked at you, everything was like, again, very, very perfect, which is obviously the same as always. Yeah. Lex was looking good as always. So, yeah. I did actually say at one point, I was like, your hair looks fucking class.
Yeah, because I tied up, didn't I?
Yeah, everything. It was just really, like, there was no imperfections in anything, which is a really weird
it's
and
nice.
hard
It almost
thing to
shows you
explain.
the beauty of everything that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Which is a great, imagine just
well, afterwards, I was
seeing the true beauty of everything.
There was the plants in the room, and the plants looked amazing. The little flowers around the horns that you got over your fireplace.
So I have a ram skull above the fireplace with flowers on it.
That looked incredible as
My
well.
mum made that.
Really?
Yeah.
And remember what I said about the light as well?
We break over. Slight pause there. It's just going to be a cut segment there where you've gone for a wee and we're back.
Yep, needed a wee.
Yeah. Lights.
So the you've got a lamp in your living room.
Yeah, it's made from like a tree trunk.
Yeah, it's like a stump of a tree it's not hollowed out. It's literally just natural, it's just worn that way. So it's it's got a hollow to it. And then there's been an Edison style bulb that's fitted inside there. Yeah. And specifically inside of that kind of hollowed out tree, I kept seeing faces. Yeah. And then I actually did it twice, didn't I? And because the second time I didn't get in as much.
Which I told you wouldn't happen. But you were adamant you wanted to try.
I was just like, I really wanted to try it again. So I did, but I couldn't get quite as deep the second time. But I saw faces in there again, and that's the only place where I saw faces, and they were quite clearly defined, and there was lots of them.
Because that is an aged tree from a wood taken from a field.
Yeah, and so it was very bizarre. The second time when I went in as well, I think I said this to you at the time as well. There was almost strips. Like, imagine someone had taken a row of bricks out of the wall, and it was all at different levels, and you could kind of see a little bit in. So it recessed in from the wall, and in the recess was like TV static, like, that old black and white TV
in your
static.
main vision.
Yeah.
How weird. Across the room, splitting your vision.
Yeah, but in like just random segments. Imagine
in your peripherals.
Like people are just taking, there was just bricks out kind of here and there, and like
stripping the layers away.
Yeah, and there was just this static that was kind of behind it. The second time around, I didn't get in as deep, and I really wanted to, and I felt like
it's so funny because Garden Gate.
Yeah,
and look how much you just took from Garden Gate.
It was fascinating. I would have happily have stayed at that level. If I could have stayed at that level for like an hour, I'd have just wandered around and looked at everything. Yeah. And I said that like I really want to go outside because there's no light pollution here, is there? It's like really nice. Go outside on a clear night and then use the vape and then see the stars like that.
But you could do it on the back end of a longer style journey as well.
Yeah, because you said that.
You would go in. You would garden gated at the beginning, and you'd be like, oh wow, I'm in, and then slowly but surely, you will just like might be able to close your eyes, and then the moment you close your eyes, boom, you're gone for a little bit, and you'll wake back up and be like, whoa, just went somewhere. And you have a think about that for a little while. And if you're with somebody else who's the thing, you might look at them and you'd be like, would you see that? Yeah. Then you might feel something together and go on a journey together and then maybe go back in. But whatever happens throughout all of that, towards the back end of it, you're going to get back into the garden again. Mm-hmm. So you've come out of the house and into the garden where you're going to be lucid and all your mechanics are going to be back and you're going to be able to do what you normally do, but everything's 8K, like you said, and you would be able to do all that thing as it dissipates away. So that would be your opportunity to then go outside and do things during that, which is why I think that is the better way that everyone should experience it, because you have a real journey, not only against the time as we know as a concept, but also the time that the DMT is allowed to work within the system to take you on multiple longer journeys. So whereas with the vape, it's at 10, 15 minutes, everything's kind of slammed into you in such a rush and such a fashion that people are almost overwhelmed by what they've learned and have to really try and remember what it is they've been. I think there's more of a chance if you're remembering the lessons, doing it on the longer journeys and being able to explore things a little bit further and, like you said, just have that sensation for longer and play with it and become used to it, and then adapt it back into their real world and life and take the lessons and adapt it because they can see where it's come from and why, and link it and just because you're not gonna. I mean, I have had friends who've done these journeys and literally changed the way that they have perceived certain parts of their life after a single journey. Yeah, to the point where they've had better relationships with children, with siblings, with other family members, or just with themselves. So it's so healing, and that's what nobody's ever had had a non-healing journey. Yeah. There's always been something, whether it be something that was uncomfortable to face, but again, it's not. You don't really have fear. Of perception of the thing is that you fear this thing as a perception, but it shows you why you shouldn't and what fear is. Yeah. It would even break down what fear is and why this trigger is there for it. Mm-hmm. So it's just honestly in the right environment, so the right situation with the right understanding and the right mood, and you definitely have to be in the mindset, and the place to do these things and be ready and even before you go in, it's wise to sit there and think, what is it? Yeah, what is it at the moment? It could be as simple as I just want to refresh, I just want to reset, I just want to just on off, I just want to boom, reset, and it'll teach you whatever you need to know at the time, and not no. Two trips will ever be the same.
No, I think
like a fingerprint every time.
Yeah, I'm very excited to kind of have the full experience when the time's right, because it's something we spoke about a lot. And I don't necessarily feel like in overall, I feel like my life is fairly good. Like I'm quite happy with how things are. There's a lot of other things that I do. Things that you still residually kind of hold on to a little bit. Overall,
very hard on yourself. I think it'll show you a lot about that.
Yes,
and it'll show you why you feel a necessity to be like that with yourself. It'll break down where that comes from, the triggers, and why you no longer need to be as hard.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what lessons I can learn. I'm very determined overall to have the best possible life I can, and whether that be through, I make a conscious effort to try and educate myself on certain things where I feel like I need to learn. And I feel this is just another angle to potentially make improvements. And if it's not somewhere I can make improvement, either way, absolute worst case scenario, it was a new experience that I've got to have.
Cool shit.
Yeah, I had some cool shit.
I guarantee it'll be more than that.
Yeah.
It just is, because again, we make it. Our brains are designed to take it and use it.
Yeah. And I think when I actually probably, from my experience right now, I think that having the vape is actually probably a good way for someone to get that little bit of understanding of it.
Yeah, the issue is a lot of the vapes will be very strong, whereas it's like a 2-hit breakthrough.
Yeah.
Which obviously there's no way of really controlling that, because you take one breath and you're going to be zinged into the garden straight off, from the road to the garden in one hit, and then a second hit through the door, or third hit usually.
Okay, then. So from a low dosed vape, that gives you. It gives you
take away the expectation, like the anxiety of expectation.
The speed of it. Yeah. It's literally how quick. I've not experienced anything that literally just like zips you in there like that. Yeah. And that, I think that's what surprised me. I was expecting a more gradual.
Yeah, like a taper.
Yeah, or like I was going to descend into somewhere or ascend into something like. But it was just fucking wasn't there. Then it was there. And that's what caught me by surprise. And the whole experience was so quick that I almost feel like that first little bit that I had, I was just in a little bit of shock through it because it was just so fast. And then the second time around, when I knew what to expect a little bit more on the pace of it, I wasn't quite at that level because of the kind of the saturation or whatever it was.
It saturates the brain, which then obviously gets oxidized, and then that enzyme is then active, and then blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't work. You have to have a full reset. Yeah.
So we will have a Psychedelics part 2 when I do my proper one.
And if you want to know, I keep dropping rings off. I keep messing with the rings. I'm listening to you so intently. I'm like, ooh, and my hands have to do something. I've knocked off every ring on every finger so far.
All just flying off.
Yeah. If you want us to talk more about things and actual journeys, obviously we started a bit late on because we had some other funny discussions. But there are ones where I was able to speak to my grandfather after he passed, and that helped me a lot to settle that. And now, obviously, that within a single moment, I went from guilt and sadness to happy memories and happy thoughts every time I think of him now.
Yeah.
I can describe that to you if you would like to know about all those things, and then we can talk about them some more. Yeah. But again, I would just say, I don't advocate the use of drugs.
Just a bit of heroin.
Just a bit of heroin, like we said, yeah. Just on your deathbed, a little bit of heroin. But other than that, say no to drugs, kids.
But that's what really was in that brown paper bag that you gave to the kid.
Yeah, you're not. Listen, if you're not benefiting from something in your life, if it's not making you a better person, teaching you something, or making you more capable, more stable, then it's not a positive in your life, and you shouldn't be doing it. Well, even if that's just weed.
Yeah.
If it's not being a positive and a stabilizing thing in your life anymore, you need to back off, and you need to wonder why you're doing it and what. And the party drugs thing, I just don't know. I'm enough of an idiot myself. I don't need it. Yes, as with everything, it's make sure that you're in a mindset and a stable state, and whatever you're doing has a purpose and a beneficial purpose at that. And only do it around people who also know what's going on, how to do things, and everything's just, be safe out there.
Yeah, I think that's one thing for me as well. The people that are around you, like, I know Lex and I trust Lex. I think when you're doing anything, alcohol included, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable state. So make sure that you trust the people that you're with to not only not take advantage of you, but if things do start to go badly, which can happen with alcohol, some people can get really sad, some people can get very aggressive. The people that are there are going to be able to look after you no matter what goes on. And I think that's really important. The environment. And
if you know that before you go in, chances are you won't have anything negative.
Oh, exactly.
Because you have that security before even going in.
Of course.
That will happen when you don't have that security and you feel anxiety and something.
Yeah.
That's it. We did have questions. We did put it out there. But we ran out of time because we had a good one. That was a good chat. I like that one. That was a varied one. Hope you enjoyed that one. So let us know. Comment section. Get Boris on DMT.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Let us know if you've made it to the end as well.
Yeah, if you have made it to the end, that's how we're going to know. Get Boris on DMT in the comments if you're on YouTube. Yeah. If you're on Spotify, make sure you leave us a rating. You can do a 5-star rating, can't you?
Give us a star rating on Spotify if you would. That'd be much appreciated. It really helps.
Is there any kind of rating system on Apple's playlists?
I don't know. Whatever. If there's something on there where you can leave us a review, you can review on iTunes. That really does help.
Yeah, there we go.
Leave us a review. Drop us some stars on Spotify, and I hope you all have an awesome week ahead. Eunice has gone by now, and we all survived.
I bet the I think only 80% of the listeners are in the UK, so the 20% that aren't.
Sunbathing, you bloody buggers.
They're gonna be like, fucking Eunice, what?
Fucking Eunice.
Fucking yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to bother. You don't need to know. You'll never need to know. Yeah. But what you do need to know is you need to leave all the bad shit in the week that has just gone by.
In DMT
whatever
land.
happened, whatever was there, fucking leave it. Leave it be. Bring forward what was good. Work on that. Brick by brick, step by step, and we'll all get wherever it is the fuck we need to be going eventually if we just keep our heads up, keep our fucking faces out of the news in the morning, off social media in the mornings, and just start being a bit more mindful and structured, because that's helped me hugely in the last week. And also what I've realised is when you start sleeping properly, you realise how fucking tired you really are. So get your sleep, be proactive, leave the bad last week, bring forward the good, and we'll all catch you next week.
Do heroin.
Do heroin. Don't do on your deathbed. Toodle pip. You've got to add the caveat. Don't just say do heroin. Jesus Christ.